module Intrepid is on the moon, but it's been a very, very hard day's work for the two men, the two astronauts, Conrad and Bean. And it's a day that leaves now in our minds two questions. The first question is, why did the television cameras fail? The second, and perhaps the more important of the two, there are now two very, very tired men inside that lunar module. What have been the effects of working under weightless conditions or under the conditions of 1/6 gravity? How will that affect their performance tomorrow? Because they have still one more day's work to go on the moon. But first, James Burke.
Well, there's no doubt that from an engineering point of view, from the point of view of the men in mission control who sent a mission to the moon, today was a day that was absolutely copybook. The mission went exactly according to timetable, the landing was perfect, every single part of the spacecraft that had to function in certain vital moments functioned perfectly at those vital moments, and the thing from their point of view was a total success. With me in the space studio throughout this day, and it's been quite a day, listening and commenting and watching the events, were Kurt Michael, our scientist astronaut, Patrick Moore, our moon expert, and Jeffrey Pardo, a space engineer. And the day began for us at just after 5 o'clock this morning, when coming round from behind the moon on their 13th orbit, the command module first, and then a few minutes later, the lunar module, the day began and went on successfully through the touchdown at 7:54, Conrad on the moon at 12:44, 1:14 in the afternoon, Bean came out, and at 4:28, the astronauts had completed a successful EVA-1 and were back in Intrepid. But as I said, the day began for us at just after 5 o'clock this morning, when a totally successful and indeed almost enjoyable by the sound of it undocking maneuver, when the lunar module began to plunge down away from the command module. And in the first moments, nothing than a slight bump of the soft undocking.
Okay, here you go again. Back off, Dick. There he goes. I just wanted to wait there and let that damp beat. Okay, I got -1 and nothing, so forget it. Engine up in Houston looks good.
And they're moving slowly away from another spacecraft, one of the best shots that we've ever seen
Real good.
of the lunar module pulling away after the undocking.
Okay, Dick, yaw left 60. And Pete, you're cutting that out to me. Roger, go up box.
The module moving away very, very slowly against the background of the moon. The docking tunnel clearly visible in the top, and 3 of the 4 legs splayed out as we look down on what was in a vertical position to be the top of the lunar module.
How do you read Yankee Clipper? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How's that?
And then on the next revolution, they opened up the taps, they opened up the engine, and down they went after the descent orbit insertion. Again, a burn by the descent engine to pull them out of orbit and down towards the landing site, absolutely perfectly. And what were your comments on that, Patrick, at the time?
Well, it seems quite incredible. After all, this was perhaps, well, undoubtedly the most perfect landing that ever has been made. And I think it speaks terribly well, not only for the actual mechanism itself, but also for the men who flew it. And quite clearly, as they went down to the moon, they were completely relaxed and completely confident in a way that no one else has really been.
Kurt, how did you feel about it?
Well, I was quite impressed by the tracking and the accuracy involved. There was a slight problem with the 5 miles north. It came out right on the money. The guidance system took it all out, and no problem.
No problems at all. Let's just look at the view, at a simulation of the view of what they saw as they went down slowly over the track, down across the moon to the western part, across towards their landing site on the ocean of storms. And then came the last few fantastically exciting moments of the landing, when Al Bean was filling his commander with information, and Pete Conrad could scarcely stop shouting with excitement.
I'm not sure. Coming through 7. Would have B64, Pete. Engine over. That's it, there's LTD. Roger, copy, B64. 1,000 update. Hey, there it is. There it is. Oh my God, right down the middle of the road. Outstanding, 42 degrees, Pete. Hey, it's starting right in the center of the crater. Look out there. I can't believe it. Amazing. Fantastic. 42 degrees, Dave. Just keep right it in. 42, we're passing 3,500. Coming down at about 99 feet a second. You're looking good. Got 15% fuel. I'll reset my watch. I'm going for landing. Over 1. I just want LPD to the right level. Roger, Roger. 40 degrees, LPD, Pete. That's so fantastic, I can't believe it. You're at 2,000 feet. How far? The boys on the ground are okay. 1,800 feet up, 39 degrees. Got 94 seconds of LPD time. Okay, I want to move forward a little bit. 38 degrees, 36 degrees. You're 1,200 feet, Pete. 1,000 feet coming down at 30. You're looking good. Got 14% fuel.
That's about 4 minutes of fuel left.
Good out there, Dave. Looks good. 32 degrees. You're 800 feet. 33 degrees. You're 680 feet. 33 degrees. 600 feet. Antenna's okay. Thank you. 35 degrees.
The computer...
530 feet. 474.
Conrad is now flying the lunar module, manually.
I got it. 400. You're B66 feet. Thanks. B66. Okay. Yeah, I gotta get over 330 feet coming down at 4. Got 11%. Just loads of gas. 300 feet coming down at 5. That's that crater right where it's supposed to be. These are beautiful. 10%. 257 feet coming down at 5. 240 coming down at 5.
Mission control there, watching with us.
Maneuvering around. Down. Come on down, dude. Okay. 10% fuel. 200 feet coming down at 3. Come on down. Okay. 190 feet. Come on down. 180 feet. 9%. You're looking good. Let's get some dust before long. 130 feet. 124 feet, Pete. 120 feet coming down at 6. Got 9%. 8%. You're looking okay. 96 feet coming down at 6. Slow down the descent rate. 80 feet coming down at 4. You're looking good. 70 feet. Looking real good. 63 feet. 60 feet coming down at 3. 50 feet coming down. Watch for the dust. 46. Low level. 42 feet coming down at 3. Coming down at 2. Okay. Start the clock. 42 feet coming down at 2. 40 coming down at 2. Looking good. Watch the dust. 31, 32, 30 feet. Coming down at 2 feet. Plenty of gas. Plenty of gas, dude. Hang in there. 30 seconds. 15 feet. Coming down at 2. He's got it made. Come on in there. 24 feet. Contact light. Roger. Copy contact. Draw it. Throw. Yeah, throw. Okay. Arm off. Okay. That's actually found. You got your finish command override off. Yep.
And in a flying cloud of dust, Intrepid was down after an incredibly perfect landing that ended them up with no less than 1.5 minutes spare fuel. And on a mission like that, that's a great deal of fuel. Engineering, from an engineering point of view, Jeffrey.
Well, it was indeed an even more perfect demonstration, of course, than Apollo 11, because on this particular occasion, it was expected that Conrad would take over at 500 feet. He brought it down. He cut the engines about 5 or 6 feet off the ground, which is what the spacecraft is designed to do. It fell properly the last few feet. And on inspection subsequently, the mechanism for taking the shock had hardly been used to its full extent at all. And the whole thing is absolutely in first-class shape. And bearing in mind the fact there are about 14 million separate functional parts in the launch rocket and the whole spacecraft, the fact it's there in that shape is excellent. It's unfortunate the camera gave trouble subsequently. But from the critical parts, a first-class demonstration of man and machine.
And from a point of view of where they wanted to go, Patrick?
Well, after all, one of the main objects of the entire Apollo 12 flight was to make a point landing, a pinpoint landing, and to all intents and purposes, this is exactly what they've done. This is the area. They tracked up here, and they came down exactly where they meant to in the landing ellipse. Now, I say this is on a flat part of the moon, and by lunar standards it is flat. But as you can see, it's not flat by conventional standards, because the moon is a very rough, uneven kind of world. And clearly, the vital thing was in fact the surface going to be firm enough to bear the weight of the landed module so that it didn't tilt dangerously to one side? Well, in fact it was. This is a different area from the old Tranquility base, and undoubtedly the surface texture is somewhat different, but it's exactly the same underneath, and there's not very much dust. So from an engineering point of view and from the point of view of navigation, this just couldn't have been better.
Kurt?
I think a great significance of the landing, which points up the competence of the crew, is that it was actually made blind. They could not clearly see the surface when they landed, and more or less did it automatically, which would be a very exciting, would have made Apollo 11 much more exciting with all the other unknowns to handle.
It was a good crew.
Yeah, it was a very good crew.
And then, just about 12:45, early this afternoon, 48 minutes behind schedule, after some slight difficulties in putting on their space suits inside the spacecraft, we saw the first of the pictures from the television camera inside the MESA, the compartment in which the television camera is carried down to the surface of the moon. A picture with the feet of Pete Conrad coming through the door. As we waited there just for a second before those pictures came down. The last few seconds there in mission control before the pictures actually came on as Pete Conrad went out onto the porch and activated the television camera. And he's reading off his checklist to say to himself what I got to do. Reaching for the handle which will deploy the MESA. The picture should come up straight away. Mesa's down.
TV starting to come in. Hey, I'll tell you what we're parked next to. What? We're about 25 feet in front of the surveyor. Good. I wanted to be.
There it is, the shadow of the lunar module on the surface.
I think how you want to take this with you, Pete. Sounds good, Pete, just like you wanted. Just swing her out here. That's right. Okay, now hold it for just a second, Pete, okay? 1 second.
Pete Conrad ought to be appearing somewhere in that rather hazy area of two dark lines that go up out of the white area towards the top of the picture.
We've got a TV.
Behind the struts.
Here he comes.
There he is. There he is. There's Conrad.
And is that a pretty looking plate, that limb? You're coming into the picture now, Pete.
You can just see his backpack sticking out there. This is his leg, body, up here.
Okay, got your camera running. Okay. Down to the bed. Man, that may have been a small one for Neil, but that's a long one for me.
A small one for Neil, but a long one for me.
That's rotten. Hey, that's neat. I don't think him too far. I'll try a little. Boy, that sun's bright. That's just like somebody. shining a spotlight in your hand.
He's gone off the footpad really quickly, Kurt. Did you see that? As he was saying, he wouldn't follow the rules. Yeah.
Skip the last step.
I mean, he did not go through the procedure of standing and putting his foot down carefully. He just leapt straight onto the surface. There's his shadow there. There he is coming
Now,
out.
but I gotta take it easy and watch what I'm doing. Oh, you'll never believe it. Just what I see sitting on the side of the crater. The old surveyor, right? The old surveyor, just there. Does that look neat? It can't be any further than 600 feet from here. How about that? Well planned, Steve. Got a little chore to do here, right? Say again? I say that was well planned, Pete. Yeah, just a couple of months with a lot of people. Let's see, deployed the LAC and the Mesa that's done. I'm looking at my mobility. PG shift. I have the decided impression I don't want to move too rapidly. But I can walk quite well.
See his shadow moving away there.
He is sitting on the side of a steep slope, I'll tell you that. Okay, I'll work on my contingency sample.
Collecting a contingency sample. After coming up with words somewhat different from the words that Neil Armstrong uttered when he put his foot down.
Not yet. And we can go back to the window first.
A small one for Neil, but a long one for me. But then he jumped all the way down.
Couple on TV camera.
That movement there is simply Pete Conrad picking up the camera.
Alright. Well. Shoot. Alright. I got the strap onto it. Let me come over here and get it. Here I come. Okay? I feel like Bugs Bunny.
Away we go.
He's now moved the camera while picking it up, so that's the horizon, and this way is up. Pete Conrad is out of the surface, has been out for almost a half an hour, and there comes the feet of Al Bean down the ladder. Camera, remember, upside down.
If you want to take the time. Press on with what you're doing there, Pete. We'll get a answer back to you.
There's Al Bean.
Okay. Pete, press on. No problem. Okay. Attaboy. Okay. You look great. Welcome aboard. Wait a minute. Try to get the boy calling sign on undisturbed surface and make it contingency family area. Got LMP because I got. I'm off to the SDN tonight. Okay. Ready for service? Yep, take it easy. You really do begin to adapt. If you turn around and walk over to your right a little bit, look over that crater, you're going to see our pal sitting there. That's one steep slope it's on. Okay, now what have you got all over your boot? Stop. Picked up a piece of landing gear. Installation. Okay. Here we go. Attaboy. Okay, I'll go in there and tell you how to watch. Shut it. Yep. You can't see what you're doing. Come over here where I am. See that surveyor sitting there? There that thing is. Look, just a minute. Look how close they almost landed that crater. Beautiful, Pete. Look at the defense. It didn't even dig a hole.
As you can hear, they can actually see the Surveyor spacecraft from where they are right now.
Houston, I'll surprise us. Go ahead. Hey, Pete, would you give us the status on the LEM and also some comments on your boot penetration? Okay, my comments are exactly the same as Neil. And every time I get near one of these little craters, I think in a lot further. I set up footsteps or thinking, what do I do with it? Put it over by the line here. I think I'll cover that rock box that is later. Remember that, but it changed. And, You out? I do. One thing I noticed is it seems to compact to a very shiny surface. I guess the particles are very small and very cohesive. So when you, every blueprint, as you look at it, looks almost like it's a piece of rubber itself. It's so well defined and you can't see any grains in it or anything. Already. Al, can you find yours? Where's yours? Oh, there it is. I see it. Oh, there. Yours. Just look at the S-band antenna. Look up that way. Straight up there. That's the best implement. Okay, now. Where we all agreed was the best place to deploy this S-band out the light here, huh? Yeah. We're going to figure it out. That out of here's a good spot. Hey, I don't want to get too far away from the cable. What's the matter with right here? That's a good place. Okay.
That S-band antenna they're referring to is the erectable antenna they will be taking out very shortly. The antenna that will be sending back, they'll hook up the television camera to that antenna and send back the pictures through that. The flight plan calls for Al Bean to actually start getting the camera away, pulling it out to a point where we can see better pictures, and there he goes, he's doing it now. No?
I think he just moved in front of it.
Yeah, he's moving it now.
Roger, Al. It's real nice moving around out there. You don't think they get tired. It really helps. It's funny. Where is Earth? There it is. Way towards the sun, that's better. Here, better.
Obviously happy in their work up there.
Sober dedication.
And with that, and watching rather, that very unfortunate camera failure with us as he watched everything throughout today was Michael Charlton in Houston.
Yes, and I've got with me here at Houston Mr. Luther Moore, who's a spokesman for the Westinghouse Company, the contractors for the television cameras that have been used on these trips, a contract which they won at a price of $8 million. That's what it cost to develop them. And I'm going to ask him now, first of all, what went wrong, do you think?
Well, as NASA has reported earlier this morning, the image tube in the camera was exposed to a high level of light, something perhaps like the sun. And this burned what is called the target part of the image tube, and this was the result.
Now, is that an operational fault or a camera fault?
It has to be classified, I guess, as an operational fault.
The camera itself is okay, but the fact that being pointed is presumably at the sun.
That's right, and as you saw earlier, the pictures were exceedingly good, I thought, that we got one before the camera was removed from the Mesa pallet.
Well, the big question is, are you going to be able to fix it in time for the next moonwalk?
There was some talk of the camera tube regenerating itself, that is, a sort of repairing itself. But the tests this morning that were conducted to this end don't indicate that we're going to have television tonight. That remains uncertain, but my guess is that we won't have any more TV coverage.
That is, of course, your time tomorrow morning in London. Well, that's bad news, and that's a worldwide disappointment. We can all share it. Incidentally, we were talking to Neil Armstrong here earlier this morning, and he said that they had marks on the top of their camera to ensure that they didn't point it at the sun, that they got the angles right. Now, were there marks like that on Bean's camera?
There are marks on the top of the color camera, lunar color camera, but these are for focusing, wide angle, and close-up. So but any other marks, I'm not familiar with them.
Well, it's been a day of great triumph and great excitement for them here, because the Apollo mission has really proved itself scientifically now. It can go anywhere it wants to pinpoint landings, but the world won't be able to see it until the next time, perhaps. Back to you in London.
Thank you, Michael. Well, we still keep our fingers crossed for some miracle from that camera sitting under the lunar module. You never know. But for a look at another aspect of what happened today, Cliff.
It's the aspect of the medical condition of the two astronauts. Now, there was no doubt that after some 4 hours outside, 2 very, very tired men went back aboard that lunar module. Conrad and Bean had done a great deal of work. When we heard them going back in, their audible breathing, they seemed to be gasping, they seemed to be somewhat under stress. Scott and Nicholson, medically, how did they perform?
Well, there is no doubt that during the latter part of the lunar surface activity they were under pressure. And now we have to hand their heart rates during the whole of this 4 hours of extravehicular activity. In the case of Bean, his average heart rate was about 120 beats per minute during the whole of that 4 hours. And when Conrad was hauling the rocks up into the lunar module, his heart rate was reaching about 150 beats per minute. And when Bean attempted to get back into the lunar module, his heart rate was well over 150 beats a minute as well.
Yeah, but the most critical thing comes tomorrow, because now these two are performing a first in space.
Yes.
They're the first people to go up there, to do a day's work, to sleep there, to get up again tomorrow and do another day's work, and then do the blast-off tomorrow. Now, how are they going to measure up to this, given that they've been up to 150 heartbeats now?
Well, I think that this is probably the first opportunity that we have to have a preliminary look as to whether man can really work in space, in terms of work like you and I, rather than just exist in space for a short period of time. And I think that the monitoring of the astronauts tomorrow will be quite important from this aspect, to see whether they can do another day's work.
But do you think they can do another day's work? This is the important thing.
I would think that as far as tomorrow is concerned, the tasks which they are given, they will probably fulfill. But here again, they're not heavy tasks.
Is there a comparative analysis to be drawn here between the performance of people in Apollo 12 and those in Apollo 11 on the previous?
Yes, indeed. In the case of Armstrong, even while he was bounding around on the surface of the moon, his heart rate was well over 140, and Mission Control stopped him at one time to inspect his personal life support system to see whether he was using up his oxygen reserves at a too high a rate. And then when he was hauling the rocks back into the lunar module, his heart rate was getting towards 160 beats per minute, and he was told to stop for a while.
Yeah, nevertheless, you see, that they didn't have a very high work rate, did they? Not
No.
as high as was thought they were going to have on Apollo 11.
No, I think this is true. We also have information on their heat production during the present flight. And this is well within the capabilities of the personal life support system.
Good. Now, back briefly to James.
Okay, well, they did, we'd better point out, do the thing that was most important on the mission objectives. They put down all those experiments on the surface of the moon. Now, let's look ahead to tomorrow. Comments on what we think we can expect.
Well, I think the interesting thing, I think they will be able to make a very good shot tomorrow. I think the interesting thing will be going over and retrieving this part from Surveyor. I don't think we should expect to see anything dramatic. I think it's going to be the analysis back at home.
Patrick.
Well, it's a pity we didn't see the moon walk, but for the mission itself, it was a day of triumph, and that's what matters. And I'm sure that tomorrow is going to be the same, even if we don't actually see very much.
Good.
Well, I think we have definite success in that the ALSEP Central Station works, and we are getting data back from that.
And it looks good for tomorrow, too.
Yeah.
In my own opinion, I think the look of this kind of crew means that they are going to do their very best to get across to Surveyor tomorrow and to hack off pretty well every bit that they've been asked to. And that's going to be quite a difficult, quite a dangerous, and above all, a very complicated thing to do. It's going to be down the side of a slope of a crater they haven't been into. They're going down with a 30-foot rope, and only at the end of that 30-foot rope are they going to see if they can go on down to complete the task. I think they'll try to do that, and I think we'll have an exciting day tomorrow. Clint.
Well, this studio throughout the evening will be keeping its eye on this mission for you. Don't forget the main news at 8:50 will also carry a report on it. We'll also have a sort of survey report at midnight tonight. But tomorrow, as everyone said, is a very vital and crucial day for this mission. It's a day on which we will keep our eye on Apollo 12 on the moon. Till then, good night.